Hey, you guys.
Hey.
Hey, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to the exclusive show. We are the House of X Entertainment.
And you're about to be entertained again.
I'm Winston.
And I'm Leo.
And a 1, 2, 3, go!
We stay entertaining.
We stay entertaining. We stay entertaining. We stay entertaining. Yes, guys, welcome to the exclusive show, guys. We have 2 amazing content creators and 2 amazing guests for you on tonight.
Ooh, that's
guys, welcome in. Make sure you share us out if you have the ability to.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Share us with everybody.
Hello, we got the YT cheerleader in the building. Yes, Burns Junk Closet. How are you? Welcome in. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Annabelle, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, Scratching P. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Life through our eyes. That is an amazing name. How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in to the chat. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Hello, Courtney's Live. How you doing? Lady C is in the building.
Hola.
How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in to the live stream. Thank you guys so much for coming in. How are you? Hello, Kira Wilton. Hey! How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
Welcome in. Welcome in. It's a little slow on StreamYard, but I see we have OG in the building. How you doing?
Thank you for coming in.
Welcome, OG. How are you? How are you? How are you?
And don't forget to press the like.
Welcome in. Hello, Just Teresa.
Oh, here comes trouble.
Yes, welcome in. Welcome in to the live. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. How you doing, OG? Thank you so much for coming in. Welcome into the live stream. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome in, everybody. Lady C is saying hello, fam. How you guys doing? Welcome in, everybody. Share it out if you guys can. Share it out if you guys can. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody.
Yes, welcome in. Thank you for being here.
Yes. Mr. and Mrs. Annabelle is saying,
Miss Mary, turn that down, girl.
Ooh, yeah, I need to turn it down.
No, that one.
Oh, this?
I don't need you to know what device you're working with, yet.
Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Scratching P. Hey, everybody. Hey.
Thank you for being here. How's everyone doing? Are you having an amazing day or what?
Yes. Everybody has an amazing day. Thank you guys so much for being here. All right. Are you guys ready for our lovely guests? Yes, guys.
Are you excited?
Are you guys excited? Don't forget to hit the like and share the stream out. Thank you. Welcome in. Welcome. Also, congratulations to Just Teresa. She is monetized.
Congratulations.
Woo! Yes, Teresa is monetized, girl. Thank you for sharing. Yes, guys. Thank you guys so much. So, guys, we're going to bring up our lovely guests, guys.
Ooh, lovely, huh?
Yes. So we're going to bring them up. We're going to bring them up. All right, we're going to get a drum roll.
Are y'all ready?
Yes. All right. Let us bring up our lovely guests, Kevin Kaye and Kristin WELTON. Woo!
Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you guys for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you
for being here.
Thank you for coming in, guys. This is Kevin Kaye and Kristin WELTON. Yes.
Thanks again, guys. Can I tell you that my favorite part of the show has to be when Leo says, "And you have been entertained again."
Thank you. Hello, Anita. Welcome in, darling. Welcome in. Welcome in. Well, for those who do not know, welcome to the exclusive show. But for those who do not know you, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Go ahead, my love.
Hi, I'm Kristin WELTON. I've had a channel on YouTube for almost a year now. And we live in Niagara Falls together and are deeply, deeply in love.
Very much in love. And I'm Kevin Kaye, so I am a social media manager of many, many years. And over the last few years, I've been running a lot of YouTube channels, 2 of which are my own. One is under my personal name, and some also in the chat here know Tuber Chat as well, which is a very successful project that I'm very proud to have, that Leo and Wanston have been extremely supportive of ever since, even before the beginning.
All right. Did y'all hear that? They said they was deeply in love, honey. Yeah. Ask some deep questions.
Yes.
Don't tell no more.
Now, how did you guys met, Kirsten and Kevin?
How did you meet?
How did you guys meet? I'm sorry.
It was so long ago.
It was where, if you remember back to when it was, I must have been what did we figure? I was 23.
You were 22.
22, 21, 22, something like that. And we had dated for a short while. I was working in radio and doing a lot of nightclub DJing and stuff like this. And Kristen came with a friend to a nightclub, and the purpose was to come and like visit us from the radio station and this and that. And Kristen and I ended up hanging out all night, having a great time, and that carried on a little bit more. We started seeing each other, and we dated for a little while. So then many, many, many years later, I started stalking her on Facebook a little bit and this and that, and found out, you know, like whatever happened to Kristen, and found she had her life together. She's got her beautiful daughter, Kira, that's in the chat with us right now. And we started, you know, the idea of like, let's talk, let's see each other and see what is up. And then, you know, it started all over again. So
he tricked me into going to dinner with him.
Yes, we were supposed to have gone for coffee. I was trying to be gentlemanly and innocent about it and said, like, would you like to meet up for coffee? We'll catch up and just talk and this and that. But it got late in the day and Kristen was working. It was a Saturday. And I said, well, can I trick you into having dinner with me then? And that started it. So.
Ooh, that must have been an amazing dinner, honey.
It was. Okay. Actually, if you don't mind me expanding on the story, it was the worst meal that I've ever had in a decent restaurant in my life. But I was so interested in the conversation that we were having that it didn't even bother me. Yeah, it was interesting.
He was mad at the waiter.
Yeah, very much. But luckily, we got some good out of the dinner and out of our time together. So.
Okay. As long as it ended well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Y'all ready to jump into the first question?
Go ahead.
Okay. So what inspired you guys to start a YouTube channel?
Yes.
Oh, well, I actually started several years ago running channels for a couple of other people before I started my own. And the reason that we did this is a friend of mine who now has a channel over almost at 11,000 subscribers. We work construction. So he has a construction company. It's really just him and a truck and sometimes 1 or 2 guys. And I started working with him. So one winter, I think it's 4 years ago, we spent the winter watching a lot of YouTube, and I hadn't watched a lot of YouTube before that. And I said, wow, you know, there's money in this, and it looks like, you know, all the other social networks that I see. I've always been big on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff since it's been around. So I said, you know, we should do this. We would be great at this. And he is a performer. He used to be a singer. I used to be a DJ. So we should be able to do not too bad at this. So we started his channels first. I started a couple for another couple of small businesses at the same time. And then I started taking mine seriously a couple of years ago. And Kristen started shortly after that.
Okay.
It was one of those things where he would come home and he would be on YouTube for a lot because he was starting a channel and he was working on Jeff's channel. And he would talk about things that are happening on YouTube. And I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. So for me to be involved in a conversation and to be able to know what he's talking about, I wanted to learn. So next thing I know, I'm throwing myself in and I'm actually doing videos and got 1,000 subscribers and then monetized, and here we are.
And then Kira has a channel as well, Kristen's daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The next question is,
do you guys plan on having a YouTube channel together?
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
We haven't even actually ever discussed it. It's an interesting question. I'm glad you asked us, because perhaps in the future there'll be something specific that we can do together. We've done a couple of these kind of things. We've got a couple of videos together where we talk about, you know, Kristin's work. She does some nonprofit work in this and that, and we've touched on that. But we haven't ever even thought about the idea of having a channel that would be ours together, something that we would complement each other with. So now you got the wheel spinning. You got us thinking.
Maybe it's YouTube.
There you go.
Yes. I'm gonna go to your question.
Yes. So this question is for Kristin. Little small question. Hi, Monty. And Anita said she is waiting on the wedding bells.
Yes, Kristin, we're all waiting a little. It will be sooner than later, I hope. As soon as I possibly can, I will marry this girl, but it won't be today. So it will be soon, I hope.
Well, I hope y'all put Leo down as entertainment.
Yeah. So Kristin, tell us a little bit about how you overcome your past relationship and your journey on going into meeting Kevin.
Okay. So I was married previously, and we have an amazing daughter. And unfortunately, just some relationships, it doesn't matter how hard you work on it. It just, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And it ended amicably. And he's actually in the next building beside us. And we just partnered together to raise Kira. She has a wonderful life growing up with parents that, you know, are strong parents together.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
The next question is for Kevin. We all know you as Super Chat. So my question was, how did you know that you wanted to do a grow channel?
A Strive channel.
I love telling that story. So thank you so much for asking. I noticed that Vern's Junk Closet is in the chat. So around a year ago, it's much longer now. It's getting to be about 14 to 16 months, I think, something like this. I was introduced to a few people just in my own running of a couple of channels and the things we have to do for that. And I ended up meeting a few generous people, a couple of which are the Hoops Family Network, Amanda, that is well known, and then Vern's Junk Closet in her circle, along with many others that we all know, between the Keto Girl, Aunt Maddie TV, Brown Girl Bella, and a lot of other creators in many different circles started to spider out. But what I found that was the most heartwarming thing, and this is why I love telling the story, there were so many generous people who truly wanted to help and were like, here, come with us. We'll show you everything we know and we'll help get your channel moving even faster. And for the first 2 years on YouTube, I did not see anybody like that at all. You know, and I'm not used to that. In my history, there's always competition between people. You know, we have to take from each other to be successful, whereas YouTube is a different story. And because I saw so many generous people like yourself, I met the both of you not too long after that, and I decided that I knew what a growth stream and what it was for, but I said, okay, I can probably run one of these, but based on the generosity that I see in the community, we can find enough people who truly care, who will truly help each other and not just do sub for sub behavior and stuff like this. And look at us now. So I'm glad you brought this up, because I love saying this one thing. When you start your YouTube channel, you may wonder to yourself, who's still going to be there a year from now? And as you start to grow and as you start to see success, things are going to change, but who's still going to be with you? Wonston and Leo have been with Tuber Chat since before it started. Vern's Junk Closet has been with me over a year now. Amanda from the Hoops Family Network, even longer than that. And it's wonderful to see that we can all still communicate together. We all still care, and now even more than we did back then. So I'm glad that it worked out to be a great idea. But thank you for asking, because that was the inspiration. You can see how passionate I get about it when I talk about it. But it's because of the generosity in the community. It is so uplifting, and it's so heartwarming to know that there's so many people who care the way that we all seem to care together.
Okay. Thank you so much. And yes, you definitely hear the passion when you speak about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're gonna. Wanson's gonna ask me something.
This question is for Kirsten. So outside of YouTube, you have a passion for the work that you do for a nonprofit, for a certain community. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do outside and this nonprofit that you work for?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. So I am an executive director for a nonprofit. It's called Epilepsy Niagara, and it's a one-person agency at the moment. So I handle everything with it, from human resources to everything with marketing, the website, social media, as well as the clients and programs. So Epilepsy Niagara is dedicated to improving the quality of life of people living with and affected by epilepsy. So I work with individuals living with epilepsy as well as their families, the schools, classrooms, teachers, the workplace. I work with the police department. I've worked with the fire department here as well, EMS, that kind of stuff. So we do a lot of outreach, and yeah, I've been with Epilepsy Niagara since 2008, so I'm going on 12 years. I love it as much as the first day I started. I can't imagine leaving. I'm probably retiring from there. I can't see changing my path. And one of the biggest things that I learned from are the clients, with how resilient they are and how willing they are to work with me. And I feel like I'm blessed every day to work with them.
Okay, hold on a minute. Do you ever get overwhelmed seeing how you have to do everything?
Yeah. But I have to be honest and say that I have a really great board of directors. So it's a group of volunteers that are really super passionate about helping me with things that they can outside of the office. And we actually have a really great pool of volunteers. Kevin's one of our volunteers as well. And I have one volunteer coordinator for our bingo when it starts running again, when this COVID is over with. And she's absolutely incredible. I would say that she's my right-hand person in making sure things are running volunteer-wise, tip-top condition. And, there's so many stigmas with epilepsy, and more people are willing to learn seizure first aid. It's so easy, it's a snap to learn. And, I am living proof that seizure first aid can save a life, because if I didn't know seizure first aid, Kira, would have been in big trouble one time she had a seizure. So I knew what to do. She doesn't have epilepsy. It was a one-off as far as we know. But because I knew that, and because of my job, and because of our main funder, the United Way, I was able to really help my daughter and most likely save her life that night.
That's great.
That's great. So what
Hold on, I'm gonna tease Kevin. Kevin, it's okay to smile.
So,
yeah, I try.
The most stressful situation that you working at this organization for you, is it dealing with the pandemic and you cannot fundraise, or sometime at your everyday work?
Oh, the most stressful thing I would definitely say is the fact that we can't fundraise the way that we normally would. We can't have in-person events, and that hurts us in many ways. For one thing, obviously financially, because that places a huge, risk of us not being able to open our doors a month from now, 2 months from now, if we don't get funding. But also our events, we provide tickets for free to our clients to come. And that's their free night or free day to come out and socialize and get to know other people with epilepsy, and get to know other people that are willing to come to events. That's their social. And for them to come to an event that we're running, that's a safe place for them. They know if they come to our event, all of our volunteers are seizure first aid trained. They are safe. Versus if they were to go to a mall or, go to the park. They are surrounded by people that are there to support them and support the cause. I think not being able to be there physically for my clients, in-person support groups and programs, that is hard. A lot of my clients don't like virtual meetings. It's hard. Sitting in front of a screen for many of my clients is impossible for them because the light, flickering light, can cause seizures with some clients. So it's hard. So, it's the fundraising is obviously a huge stress for me, but not being able to be there for my clients and get them out and socializing, that's also a huge stress.
So, a last question: how would someone was to donate? Would they contact you, or they go directly to the organization?
So they would go to the organization. It's www.xclusive.org. And there's a donation tab on every page.
Okay. I believe also that you started a YouTube channel, or they have a YouTube channel as well.
Yes. So I've been working on it, but with the purge and the glitches and everything, I'm trying to get that agency going, but it's been so hard with getting people to subscribe. And a lot of people, honestly, it's not that they're scared to subscribe to it. I think it's just they need to get to know more about epilepsy, and to there's so many myths and misunderstandings with it. And I really want it to be the most educational as possible for everybody to just jump on board. And it's Epilepsy Niagara on YouTube. Oh, they lost.
You guys or us?
I think it was you.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep. You should be good, hopefully.
Okay.
The next question is, both of you lovely people have the join button. So can you explain to the people how important it is to have the join button, and are you guys enjoying the perks that come with the join button on your channel?
Go ahead.
So my opinion about it is, we don't have a lot of members personally because we haven't really pushed that on either of our personal channels. Whereas Super Chat is doing very well, in my opinion, because we're able on Tuber Chat. I'm able to offer things that are of value, and that's the most important thing, right? It's one thing. Like, I have the join button available on my personal channel. My reason is that if somebody really enjoys what I do that much that they want to support the channel financially, I just want to give every avenue its possibility. There are some people who will get memberships but will not super chat. There are some people who will super chat but not get memberships. And there are some people who will go around the other ways to do other things as well. So I think it's important for everybody to really consider whether they want to have that. But on our personal channels, we haven't really pushed it. But on Tuber Chat, it seems to be doing well because, like I said, I'm able to provide real value. And we haven't found that with our personal channels yet.
Okay. And Kirsten, are you enjoying the join button?
I am. I haven't fully put everything into I have a few levels of membership available, but I haven't been pushing it yet. I took a bit of a break and everything from it. So, but New Year, I'm going to be going investors really shortly with that.
Okay. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you so much. Yes, you guys. We moved the
we moved the mic back. We can go to this one.
Kirsten.
I was gonna word it differently because how I wrote it down. So, but Kirsten, as we know, we go to your channel a lot.
Yeah.
And you dip and dab in makeup. So my question to you was, how long have you been dealing with makeup, or putting on makeup, I should say?
Oh gosh, I think I've been playing makeup since I was probably 14. My parents were a little bit strict, And so I don't think I got into makeup probably until I was about 14, 15 years old. No, maybe 13. I was in my early teens. And, you know, it's become a bit of a passion of mine. I love playing with it. I love putting it on and not wanting or not needing to go anywhere. So I like dabbling and everything, trying new products. It's a bit of an obsession. I have a lot of it. I have probably more than, I don't want to say the dollar amount. Probably approaching a lot of money. So
it's okay. I see the subscription boxes that come to the house, so I have a bit of a clue.
And who knows how many times I go to Mac and Sephora, and when packages come in, it's usually makeup and skincare. But I think skincare lately has been like my biggest obsession because, you know, my skin is starting to age, and I know I can't hide my wrinkles, but I definitely don't want to make them worse. I'm not taking care of my skin properly. So yeah, I love it.
So which one do you like better, Mac or Sephora?
Oh, Mac will probably always be my number one fave for makeup.
Okay.
Every time that I go to Mac, I usually, when I go to this friend's path and if I see Jenny working, I'm beelining in to see her because she knows me like nothing else. And Jenny, if you're watching, hey girl. And you know, she just knows what I'm looking for with my skin, and she's not pushy. And the products I find are amazing. But if I'm looking for variety and for skincare, I go to Sephora.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, because you're helping me with gift ideas here.
Well, that's what we're here for, to help. The next question is for you, Kevin. Seeing how you have 2 channels, is it hard balancing both Kevin and YouTube?
It is an almost impossibility. So I know the both of you are running 3 channels between the 2 of you that I know about. And it's quite something. So on my personal channel, I find myself putting myself last when it comes to doing that stuff, right? I run channels for other people, and I make sure that I keep that stuff going. I keep their channels big and healthy. Well, not big, but healthy and flowing always, right? Where I have been slacking for a while now in trying to keep up, even with the 1 video a week. And it's, you know, I have the same excuse as anybody else does, right? Well, you know, I'm busy, I'm doing other things and this and that or whatever. But I'm just happy with the idea that at least I still, in everyday life, put others first. Like I make sure, you know, it's not like, well, let me make a great video for my channel and I'll worry about the professional stuff afterwards. It's the opposite, because mine carries along anyway. Like, because Tuber Chat is so strong now, my other channel, I get subscribers anyway because of that, because there are enough people who want to know the host of Tuber Chat, so they come to my second channel. So it's easier to run, but I find myself struggling with time for that reason. When I have a choice in the day what I want to do, even if it's something that's not necessary, I would rather work on Tuber Chat than my personal channel. So thank you for asking, because it's an idea, right? It's a struggle for anybody running. Even 1 channel can be a struggle for people, right?
Yeah, it can for some people.
Yes. So this question, it can be for both of you guys. You guys can both answer. What advice would you be able to give to a new creator, a new YouTuber that's starting out on YouTube, and what should they do first?
I want to hear Kristen's answer, actually. I want you to go first, if you don't mind.
I would say consistency. So when you for one thing, research other channels, see how other people are doing their videos. What do you like about them? What don't you like? What do you think you can do? And don't go crazy with buying equipment, because you really can literally just do it with your phone. And to really think and entrench yourself in that. And when you have a goal, write everything down. I write everything down. I write down all of my video ideas. I schedule my stuff. I schedule my time. And being organized is absolutely key. Be consistent with that and learn stats, because you want to know where you could do better. You want to know where more improvements can lie. You want to know, you want to research the algorithm. You want to get to know that. Also, most important thing with doing that, and as Kevin always says this, is to give more than you expect to receive. Get out there and start socializing and being friends with people, but do it genuinely. Nobody likes a fake person, So it's important to, when you're making and establishing friendships, is to really make those friendships and make those friendships sing, support others, and they will come to you in droves.
I'll just add to it. So Kristin says, like, think about what you want to do a little bit of research, watch other things, but at the same time, don't let that hinder you. There's a thing we call analysis paralysis, and that happens to a lot of people, especially if you're the kind of person who finds yourself to be a perfectionist. You might find yourself overthinking and saying, well, I'm going to do videos in 6 months because I want to get my set together and my camera together, and I want my ideas to be perfect and write scripts and everything. Whereas for somebody who's just starting out, if you don't have a very solid, clear idea of exactly what you're going to do, film everything you can stand to film, because you can always not use it. This is exactly how I started when I ran the first channel for my first client. I said, we're going out today and we're filming, and I don't care whether we use it or not, because we can always delete it if we change our mind, and we can always just leave it sitting there if we don't want to use it. These days of digital cameras, we have all the data in the world. We can save as many film clips as we want. We're not limited by film and things like this.
Well, how many hard drives do we have in the house right now?
Yeah,
Four?
Actually just buying another hard drive. Yeah, but I happen to be very big on backup.
Yeah.
So this is also a thought, not necessarily for somebody who's just starting, because on your phone, on your computer, you'll have a little bit of room. But one of the things I suggest for anybody is always back up as much as you possibly can. And the reason why is because if disaster ever strikes, you've got everything ready to roll and you won't skip a beat. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering that.
One more.
Go ahead.
So one more, as a new creator, do you recommend them going over the top, or because sometimes you have new creators, they overthink a lot of stuff, they misjudge themselves. So if someone was like that, what would you tell them?
Be yourself. Be authentic, because that's what people want to watch. I don't want to watch someone who is too scripted, because I have TV for that. I want real. I want authentic, because when I'm subscribing to you, I'm subscribing not only to your channel, but to you as a person. I want to see you. I see value in you. I want my value, I guess, but I want it to be authentic because I want to love you.
Absolutely. I agree anyway.
He said, I agree anyway.
It's true. It's one of the most important things, because when we watch other things, especially movies and television, we've had all our lives, right? YouTube hasn't been this prominent until, it gets bigger every year, right? But we watch television and we kind of sometimes might think we wish we could look like that. So if you happen to be, it doesn't matter who, but let's just say an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, right? Nobody watches somebody else and says, I like this guy because he's just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, then you just watch Arnold Schwarzenegger. So by being yourself, you're throwing something into your productions that nobody else has. Not everybody is going to love you or even like you, but that's not what you're aiming for anyway. But I promise, no matter who you are and no matter what you do, if you just do it consistently, there are enough people out there that will find you and will like what you have to offer. Maybe you'll be giving people, even if it's just entertainment, if not value in other ways, you will be able to build an audience. But being true means that you never have to act and you never have to forget. And 10 years from now, you won't be trying to keep up with what you were doing because you're still just being yourself.
but it's important to also be positive as well. There's a lot of people that are negative, and I'm not saying by you not being, you know, negative on screen is you not being you. I think you should put your best self forward, not in a fake way or anything like that. But also when I'm on YouTube and watching other creators, if I'm seeing, like, I'm very empathetic and I feel people, and when there's a lot of negativity, I feel it and it drags and pushes me down and it puts me into a funk because I feel their pain. I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to be involved in other people's drama and stuff like that. I'm not saying YouTube has to be a place to escape, but I think it should be a place of uplifting as well.
Absolutely.
I totally.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next question is a random question. Ooh, all right now. Yes, for the views for that one. I wrote this down because I don't think any of us know the answer to this question. So my next question is, what type of music do you guys listen to?
Yes.
This is where opposites attract, as a matter of fact. You go ahead, Kristin.
So I'm extremely eclectic with what I listen to. I listen to pretty much anything from Johnny Cash to Leonard Cohen to Public Enemy. I am everywhere. I love rock. I love hip hop. I love some rap. I very little country. I don't like new country, but you know, we were listening to Leonard Skinner the other night because Kira was asking about Sweet Home Alabama. But I like pretty much anything. I like some electronic. I like Daft Punk. I was huge into Prodigy for a while, Rammstein, Motley Crue. I am absolutely everywhere when it comes to music. My all-time favorite is Ramones.
Okay. I have a little bit of a different. You'll find her listening to different things. If you catch Kristin on an average day, she's listening to alternative rock, right? Even though her taste expands, you'll most often find me listening to whatever pop is on the radio, or I do like nightclub, you know, dance music, house music, if you want to call it that. Yeah, electronic kind of stuff. But my because I was a DJ, my collection expands over all genres. So you might find me listening to very, very unlikely obscure stuff, but it's usually popular stuff. So while I may listen to different radio stations, it's usually anything that will be on the radio, even in different genres. So we're very well-rounded, both of us, but on any given day, you won't walk into us listening to the same song.
No.
Oh, that is so cute. Question number 8 on mine is, do you guys have any favorite YouTubers that inspired you
to become a YouTuber?
Oh no, I just put inspired you in general, but yeah, the question is about YouTube though.
Like Sunny Lenarduzzi.
Well, you go ahead and answer first, and then I'll go through I have a list of probably 10.
So I love Sunny Lenarduzzi. I kind of obsessed with her. Also, in the beauty world, I found that there's a lot of negativity with that. So I've limited my beauty vloggers to Alexandra Nelly and Robert Welsh. His twin brother is amazing as well. In the small YouTube community, like our community, obviously you guys are one of my number ones. I love Verns. I love Mishana. I love the Positive Pusher. Keto Girl will always have a special place in my heart because I got my 1,000 subscribers on her live. You know, there's and Scratch and Pete happens to be one of the best moderators. I believe the moderator in your channel as well. Corinne's life. There's so many people. I think the easier question for you to ask me is ask me who I don't like, because there's so few people that I just love everybody. I think everybody is incredibly inspiring, especially Vern's Junk Closet, because she's all about pushing us further in so many realms of that, whether it's, household finances, bettering our channel, small business, everything.
It's a little bit different for Kristin than it is myself, because I was involved in YouTube first, and she started to see some of the generous people that I was talking about, like yourselves, like Vern's Junk Closet, and a lot of other knowledgeable and inspiring people to help bring her along as well. For myself, I might go for a little bit more of a hardcore list, right? So
Think media.
well, most of you will be familiar with some of the names that I bring up right now, but I have a very strong list of a handful of people. So Sean Cannell from Think Media and their team, Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators and their team. I know Vern's Junk Closet likes Nick and Dee Nimmin, very important. Roberto Blake is also wonderful, and Sunny Lenarduzzi is a godsend in her own right. And then I follow a site called Social Media Examiner, and it's not exclusively for YouTube at all. They talk about all the different social networks, but they are a resource as well that is both inspiring and educational when it comes to not only how to be a great creator in your own right, whether it's YouTube or not, but also how to promote your stuff between the different social networks and how to utilize them. So I've got a much probably longer list than that. There's a few other names, Vanessa Lau, Daryl Eves, and a couple of others, but those are the really hardcores that I think everybody should be looking in on once in a while if you're trying to grow your channel.
Nick is.
All right.
I like that. I got like the way they answered.
Yes, me too.
He wasn't lying. He got about 10 people. Yeah, okay.
Wow.
You want me to read mine or you want to go to yours?
I'll go. So this question is for Kirsten.
I'll be right back.
Okay. This question is for Kirsten. Many do not know that you deal with a terminal illness, which is called MS. Can you explain what MS is? How do you cope with it? How do you deal with the side effects? How do you manage it in your everyday life?
Well, I want to start off with saying I wouldn't say it's a terminal illness, like terminal cancer or anything like that, but it is something that I will have for the rest of my life. There is no cure for it. There is no getting better. I do find that for the most part, because I can't go on the medication because I can't get covered here for it. It's $25,000 a year. Yeah. And so eventually, once my channel is really going, it'd be great to be able to use that money towards that. And maybe by then there will be an actual such thing as coverage, like me having a company that will cover me for that. But I think like when I was first diagnosed, I think that was the worst for me. Because when I was diagnosed, I was at my worst. I couldn't sit up straight because I had no strength in my core. I couldn't walk straight to the point where people thought I was drunk. But as soon as I sat down, everything is normal. So when I first went to one of the doctors, when he was testing my reflexes, he said I was fine because he's testing them when I'm sitting down. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. And at that point, he said that he was going to cancel an MRI that another doctor was scheduling for me. And so he made me feel like I was crazy. And I think that's the worst thing of it, is leaving that doctor's appointment feeling like everything that he told me, like everything that I feel is in my head and I'm causing it to myself, which is absolutely horrible. But for me, I don't notice that I have it unless I have an infection. So if I have an infection, my body buzzes, and that's my key to let my doctor know, okay, my body's buzzing. It's usually a bladder infection if that's the case. Sometimes my gait, the way that I walk, is off. Then I know that there's something happening. I notice it when I'm tired, and my speech will start to slur, and I'll actually start to sound and look like a stroke victim. Like I get really, really, really off.
To somebody who hasn't seen it, it can be extremely uncomfortable if you're not expecting it, and something that can be quite overwhelming. You know, it can overtake you with worry. Whereas for In Kristen's specific case, I don't know enough about other people's cases. It can come and go. And you just know, like, if Kristen's having, let's say, a bad day or a bad night, when she sleeps, wakes up the next day, she's back to herself. You know, so it's unfortunate that you have to lose a bit of time like that. And sometimes you have to just like, okay, the best thing to do is just go to bed for the night. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. And then it's interesting to know the things that we're going to be able to do to help as time goes on, right? Because this is something she lives with, and it's always she'll say, like, you know, it's not necessarily on her mind. I don't mean to overtake the question. It's just we don't think about it all the time, but it is on our mind. So if we're going somewhere or doing something, there's always the thought, okay, what if Kristen has a bad time when we're halfway between what we're doing? You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll be, my family's all in Toronto. So sometimes we'll be an hour and a half to 2 hours away. And if Kristen's got to drive there herself, I've got to have in my head, okay, what do we do if something goes wrong halfway down the drive? It's never happened. No. It's just something that, you know, people with things like this have to live with as something on their mind as well, to make sure that her safety as well as well-being is always being put first, you know?
And
go ahead.
And to look at me, you would never know, like, this is what's called an invisible disability. So while, you know, stress, so there's triggers with MS. So heat, stress, infections, and something else. I can't remember what it is. That one doesn't affect me, so that's why I know. But for me, heat through the summer is often bad for me. Infections obviously are bad for me. Infections are the absolute worst. But stress, I can be stressed with work and I'm fine. That's a positive stress for me. It's, you know, it gets me going, it gets me being productive. It's fine. But it's emotional stress that wipes me out, and it's horrible. Whether it's emotional stress that I'm feeling or if somebody else is feeling. I when someone is really, really upset, let's say Kira comes out here and she's really upset, I can sense and I feel that positivity, and then that weighs on me. And when emotional stress gets to me, when I say I look and sound like a stroke victim, I'm not sure exactly what happens with my mouth. I don't know if it drips or anything like that, but I know I lose my way to walk properly, and I know I start slurring my words. Sometimes I'm really funny, like I'm drunk, but it's not funny. But when that happens, sometimes this overwhelming heaviness comes over my body, and it feels like the gravity is pushing me down into the ground. And as soon as I say I feel heavy, Kevin knows. Get to bed or lie down on the couch, wherever I am, and sleep. And when I wake up, I'm fine. When I have a bladder infection, if it's gone too far and the infection's really bad or it wasn't taken care of properly the first place, it affects my muscles. So sometimes even when I don't have a big infection, my toes, so here's your foot and here's your toes, my toes will go like this, and it's painful. And Kevin has to try to get my toes back to normal. And then it's like a Charlie horse. Think of Charlie horse in your toes. That is excruciating, but it's quick. One of the bladder infections I had that went too far actually went into the muscles in my hand. My fist would go like this, and then my arm would twist. The same thing would happen in my foot. So whenever, and this imposing, it was a feeling of imposing doom right before it happened. And as soon as I would say it, like it used to be getting out of the truck, Kevin would come over to the other side, and I would say Vincent Price, because it just feels like doom. And he would stand in front of me so no one could see what was happening to me. But it's quick. The things only last for a couple of seconds. It doesn't happen a lot, but you know, that's a sign that I need to get to my doctor, and I usually end up going on, what's that thing I hate? Prednisone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they give you steroids.
They give me steroids for it. I've only been on it twice, I was an ugly, awful human being on it because it made me very snappy and angry and not a nice person at all. Thankfully, it's only been twice that I've had to go on it, but unfortunately, it's on really high doses, 1,000 milligrams a day for 5 days. And then it stays in your system, but it also makes you not sleep. And I already struggle with insomnia, so like that's not pretty. But those things are very few and far between. So most of the time, I don't look like there's anything wrong, and I'm so in tune with my body now that I know when I'm having a bad day. I know when I can't go to work and I have to work from home. And everybody around me is so supportive. It's just a way of life now, and it's not really that much of a hindrance. For driving, I'm fine every day, and if I'm too tired, I don't drive. It's like drinking. If you're drinking, you don't drive. So if I'm that tired, I don't drive. But there was a drug that I take called modafinil, and that having 5 or 10 Red Bulls, it gets me going. And I'm fine. When I take it, I don't have the MS type feeling later.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yes. So what would be your advice to someone that is diagnosed with MS, and how would you be able to tell them to take care of their self?
I would say, for one thing, stay as much as you can off of Google and Wikipedia and all that kind of stuff, because don't look at the bad things right away, because I remember when I was first diagnosed, I could barely walk like I had to use a walker and a cane and all sorts of stuff. And my first question to my doctor was, well, there's two. One was, are you here to take my license? And he started laughing. He was like, no. Like, you are fine when you're sitting down. You're fine. And right now, okay, if you feel like this, don't drive. Don't leave the house. You're fine. But also was that, is this it? Is how I am right now? Is this the way that I'm going to be for the rest of my life? Am I going to be wheelchair bound? Like, what is happening? And he said, no, we're going to get you on prednisone and you're going to be fine. It's hard not to stress over it, because I cried when they told me. I cried for 3 days. My mom cried, my parent cried, because I thought my life was over at that point. I thought I was going to lose my license. I thought I was going to lose my job. I thought I was going to lose my house. I thought I was going to lose everything. But it's okay to feel those feelings. Get those feelings, feel them, get them out of your system, and then start living. Contact, if you have a local MS chapter, or go online, talk to them. Go to Facebook, find support groups, talk to other people that are living with it, but try to get yourself into a positive mind space as quickly as possible. Surround yourself with positivity. If anybody in the chat has epilepsy, has MS, or has a loved one with MS and want to connect, please connect with me. I'm extremely open about talking about it, and especially if there's so much unknown to it, and not every person feels the exact same way with MS. It affects people differently. How it affects me might not affect somebody else. So, but talking about it is really, really important, because internalizing anything is going to make you sick.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. Do you have any more questions?
No, that's it for right now.
Ooh, not for right now. Okay. So the next question is, what do you plan on completing in 2021?
The year. Oh gosh. Oh.
While Kristin thinks, I'll take the question. So forgive me. So I paraphrase from other people. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I do a lot of driving a couple times a week, and that's what I do while I drive, right? And that's my age showing, maybe, I'm not sure. But I listen to a lot of stuff from people. It's all business, or not necessarily self-help, but things like that. And what they say is there's different things you can do in the world. You can play a game to win, or you can play a game to play. And the idea is, like, if you're playing a game with your child, let's say you have a young child, 6, 7, 8 years old, and you're playing catch with them. We hope you're not playing to win. We hope you're not playing to throw the ball so hard that the kid gives up. And you know, that's not the point. The point is you throw the ball so they throw it back, and the next person can throw it, and the next person can throw it. And so Kristen will answer in her own way. But for myself, what I'm doing right now is I'm playing to play. So regardless of the outcome, I am growing, and I'm, you know, aiming to move higher and higher and higher with all the things that I'm doing. I don't know if there's going to be other channels on my horizon. It seems that way. But like with Tuber Chat, for instance, I'm focused on growing that. So there's no end to it. So there's no, like, is there something that I want to do and finish? No, I just want to take what we're already doing and make it bigger and better, widen the audience, help more people, and that kind of thing. There's no real end goal, right? So I say this all the time. I decided not to quit before I started, but there's not something that I want to complete because I'm playing to play. And when I run the things that I run, it's always assuming we're going to do it forever. We know that that doesn't happen. So when the end comes, it comes. But the idea is just to keep growing and just move as far as we can. That's the goal for myself anyway.
I think for me, especially for YouTube, I think growing my channel more is an obvious thing, but I've been toying in my head, and PA can attest to this, and Kevin can attest to it, is whether or not I'm going to start a cooking channel. And I think I do. I think I just need to get over the analysis paralysis and just start filming more and just do it.
Ultimately, it looks like there may be more channels on the horizon. I have a handful all set up that are ready to go that I haven't done anything with yet because they're prepared, right? If that's the move I decide to make in the next few months, now that, you know, Tuber Chat and my channel are strong enough, Kristen's channel is strong enough, she can break off to a second one. So we're going to see. So Kristen's going to make some cooking videos. And if it looks, after about 10 or 12 episodes, like a channel is something she'll enjoy doing, then she'll do it.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much. This was a comment to Kirsten from Hilda DC. I know you're going through a lot, but I thank God
Thank Jesus.
Thank Jesus. You're here to explain to us what you're going through here.
Thank you. And like, I really want to make sure that like, I know a lot of the stuff that I talked about was really heavy, but I have an amazing life. I am so blessed to have Kevin and Kira and the people that are around me, like you guys and my friends and other family and stuff like that. I'm super, super blessed with the life that I have. And like, we have a great life, and I don't think of myself as ill or sick. I know my mom used to say that I'm ill, but I don't know. it's just that it's a matter of putting a positive spin on everything and to live in the life that you live in the best way possible.
Amen. And you should start a cooking channel because the food that you make, especially when you did for the holiday, the cranberry sauce, even though I do not eat cranberry sauce.
Not you.
No, but you should.
Okay, so the next
everything that Kristen does is great. Like, I can cook to save my life, so I can throw chicken or fish in the oven for 45 minutes and nobody's going to get hurt, right? But I don't do anything that's spectacular. The best things that I make are exactly how they're supposed to be made there's no special thing. But Kristin has the instinct in the kitchen to be able to go to the spice rack, which I don't even know what the stuff is. And she'll put stuff in and she'll say like, oh, I'm going to try something today. And, you know, I eat like a king for this reason. So does Kira, because, you know, Kristin does the bulk of the cooking, 90%, let's say, maybe even more. But when she does like a typical dinner, even a breakfast, she comes up with ideas and things that are not too far off a traditional dish, but she just has the instinct to know. You know, so I'll say like, you know, what are we going to do for dinner this week? And she'll say, oh, I don't know, I'm going to do Hasselback chicken, but I'm going to put a different thing, you know, together for it. And, you know, I only understand half of what she's talking about. And if you see in our house, a lot of people use a television as background noise these days, right? This is where much music and MTV used to come in and stuff like that. And now we use, like, if I walk in the house, they're almost always watching cooking shows. Lots and lots of cooking shows on all the different networks and stuff like that. I understand the stuff. I don't understand it as well. I look at it as entertainment. But I think that Kristin has the instinct that people could really benefit from her point of view for somebody who wants to watch YouTube to learn about cooking and to cook different things and doesn't prefer to go to a television, right? Like you can watch TV and they have great cooking shows and they give you the recipe and stuff like that. I find it intimidating. I'm not going to watch them on the Food Network and try to duplicate what they're doing in my kitchen because I'm not that guy. But if I watch somebody on YouTube and said like, oh, wow, like Cooking with Q and More is a friend of everybody as well. And he does great work as well. He cooks professionally. And I've seen him do things and I've said, you know what, that makes me want to try it. And that's part of where this idea comes from too. I think Kristin will have the instinct to be able to make things people will want to try to do.
Like my cheesecake.
And cheesecake, for instance, she makes like dynamite cheesecake. And most of the stuff she does more than once gets better every time as well.
Amen. Ooh, more views. We're gonna have to try
smiling now, Leo.
So that's what makes him smile, huh?
Yes, you know what they say.
Okay, so I only have about 3 more questions.
Hey, Bella.
Hey.
Why? It's talking, honey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ooh, you about to get stabbed, girl.
Don't stab me.
Right on television.
Don't stab me.
1, 2, 3. How many questions you got there?
Hey, Shannon.
I have 3 questions left. Mine is simple. The next question is, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Oh, God. Who's that for?
Both. You both.
You go ahead.
In 10 years, going to Paris for
for our honeymoon. Yeah.
No, for anniversary.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When we go for our anniversary, we'll already know where everything is because we will have been there for our honeymoon. So we'll see. That's not a serious plan yet. It's a hope so far and a dream for the hopefully not too distant future. I hope it's not 10 years. I hope it's much sooner than that. Myself personally, I hope to be continuing what I'm doing right now and then as well expanding. I happen to be a computer programmer as well. I'm just independent though. It's not like I work, ever for a big company or anything like that. I do my own thing. And what I would really love is to see the YouTube work that we're doing turn into what could possibly be a social media marketing agency where I would possibly even have an office with a small handful of people working on things. We could have studios. People could be in there creating both visuals, both audio, and then as well we can marry in the computer programming and stuff and get some serious work out into the world. Like, for instance, apps and particularly games. Not that I just love games so much, but when you think number one category of apps on the App Store, it's games. Games are for people of all ages now. It's not just for teenagers like it was 30 years ago. Now it's for everybody. And, grandmothers are playing video games. Everybody's playing video games, and especially these days. So that's where my heart is. I'm a marketer. I'm great at it, in my opinion, and this is where I've always found success in the last 30 years. But I would love, love, love to be able to buy myself the time to get back to computer programming so that I can find things that can help us and entertain us,
Okay, all right.
Normally we wait until the end to ask questions from the audience, but I think one person has a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they asked if they could ask questions.
Yes.
So we'll take a question.
Little Ruby's daycare encounters. You can comment your question. If you do have a question, you guys can comment your questions, and we will get to them. Okay.
You want me to ask my next one?
No, I think the question is coming. It's late here. It's right here. Okay. What's one of the things you would not change about each other?
One of the things you wouldn't change?
Yeah.
Huh.
For you, it's definitely your positivity, because if I am feeling okay, so here's a for instance. It's a little bit dark. So last year, or 2019, my mom died, and that was obviously a very, very bad thing. And leading up to it, so my mom had cancer, and we had her move in with us for the last, I guess it was 5 months of her life. And Kevin, so I was her caregiver. Kevin is here at that time from Friday until Sunday night. And so when it's just Kira and I, it's mainly just me looking after my mom. And it was very, very draining. And having Kevin with us in the apartment when he's home, and even when he's not, he's so undeniably supportive and caring and positive. And he was my support system. He was my absolute partner. And I would never want that changed from him. Kevin's favorite thing is family. And he loves family time, and he is always there for his family. He is always there for his friends, and I would never change that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think forgive me, because I'll turn your question around to what's the one thing you wouldn't change about each other. But the truth is, I wouldn't change anything about Kristen. There's nothing that I sit there and I think like, well, she's perfect, except I wish she just wouldn't do this one thing. I don't think that, because when we have, like we talked about music earlier, it's our opposites attract. But I don't know if it's me just wanting to be open-minded. I don't know whether I am as open-minded as I think I am, or if I just want to be that way. But when I see the things about her that I wouldn't have otherwise, let's say, been looking for or would like for myself, it still makes me want to, I find it almost inspiring. Right. So instead of like taking her radio station in the car and turning it off and saying, "Oh, I don't want to listen to this. Let's listen to something else," I'd rather know. So there's nothing that I would change about her, because we find our ways to do the things that we don't enjoy together separately. So for instance, I'm a fan of sitcoms, and sometimes really like controversial, over the top stuff like, Family Guy and The Office and kind of ridiculousness. TV to me is like just, laugh for half an hour kind of thing most of the time. And then otherwise I like really boring, like political dramas or things like that. Kristen watches more reality television. She watches things like Big Brother and Survivor, the cooking shows that we talk about. I don't enjoy those things as much. So we have a hard time finding things like, let's say, if we're going to watch television together, it takes us forever to find a show that we can both enjoy. But we go through the trouble of figuring that out so that we can spend that time together. And then, I'll listen to audiobooks, but Kristen wants to read. She doesn't read the tablet, she reads the book, right? And we do that separately, and it's fine because it doesn't interfere with each other either, if that makes sense. So I know it's idealistic to sit here and say, "Oh, I wouldn't change one thing about you," but I wouldn't, though.
I know
there you have it.
To answer Jaden's question, Jaden, you have to rewind this back, because the question you keep asking, he's already answered when we first started.
Yeah, thank you, Jaden. We talked about that earlier, but yeah, just because of the generosity in the community of people like Leo and Wanston and lots of the people in the chat, Brown Girl Bella, Vern's Junk Closet, and others that have been with us for so long, that inspired me to start Tuber Chat. But thank you for asking.
Okay. He is a Jew group. We have 2 more questions.
Well, together it's 4, Mary.
It's 4.
How many do you
So my question is for.
Wait, hold on. Is yours personal or YouTube?
This is a YouTube question.
But mine are YouTube.
I gotta ask about. Okay. My question is for both of you guys. What tools would you give to someone that just became monetized, and how would you direct them in the road of after being monetized? What should they do and what should they not do?
Oh.
I can start by saying, okay, so tools I'd have to think about, right? Tools are nice to have. And if you can afford nice tools, then by all means go out and get everything that you want. Pay for TubeBuddy, pay for, you know, a nice 16-inch MacBook Pro. You can afford it and this, that. But it's not necessary, right? If you play the tools that you have as well as you can, you will put yourself and work that is worth putting out into the world anyway. So forgive me for, I don't know what you think of that as an answer, but that's how I truly feel about that. But one of the things that I will say is I don't know if it's quite heartbreaking, but it's surprising to me, is a lot of creators get monetized and I see them stop pushing. And the reason that I notice it is because there are some creators who continue to push, right? So we have some creators, for instance, in Tuber Chat that have gotten monetized, you know, and they're still climbing. They're past the 2,000 subscribers, past 3,000 subscribers. And I'm so happy for that. Because, you know, we all fight so hard to get here. Some have to fight even harder than others. There's lots of people who have to fight even harder than me. I'm a social media person, so my success was almost guaranteed to be just as well slow and strong like everybody else. But I understand there are a lot of people who have to go through a lot of things to get their channels moving and to get monetized. And it's just heartbreaking to me to see you know, somebody get monetized but not be pushing for 10,000 subscribers. I believe that every single person that runs a YouTube channel can have 10,000 subscribers if they want to. It will take some time, but you can. 100 is another story because that can take years. And we don't know what 2 or 3 or 5 years is going to look like right now, right? If we're going at the pace we're going, it might take that long. But everybody can have 10. And so it almost breaks my heart to see people get to 1,000 or 1,500 and be okay with that and then just ride it. You know, when there's so much more out there. If we were after monetization, I know money's not everything in life, but there's so much money available to help and to do other things with that I'd love to see more people reaching farther, you know, but maybe that's just me wanting to live vicariously through other people, but that's my hope. That's, you know, maybe we can turn that around, turn it into advice or something like that. What do you want to add to that?
Oh gosh, I don't know if there's anything I can really add to that. I think the only thing that I would ever suggest is to self-evaluate, figure out what about it and what about the process do you love the most. Is it the filming? Is it the editing? Is it the uploading and social media and stuff like that? What is it that is your jam? Because if you're going to invest in something, I would suggest in one thing or 2 things that will make that process better, whether it's investing in editing software. If that's your love, go for that. If it's about social media and the actual process of putting everything together, I would suggest definitely getting a hard drive. I have a small one that I use that's 500 gigs, and there's bigger ones I have too, but making sure that all your stuff, everything that you film is backed up on a hard drive that is separate from your computer. And everything that I upload is on all of my hard drives. That way there's no such thing as me saying, oh no, I lost something. I don't want to ever go through that. If it's filming, then invest in a camera and tripod or whatever else. But you don't have to go and get the most expensive thing. There's no one out here that you need to impress. Get something that works for you in your budget that will make you happy, and just be confident and just don't stop. Just keep going.
I have produced videos, and some of those now have over 250,000 views, and they were done with a phone that I promise is not as good as anybody else in the chat here. I was using an iPhone SE original from 5 or 6 years ago until just this year. Kristen got me an iPhone 11. But that's the only reason I even upgraded. Otherwise, I'd still be shooting with that. So, you know, tools, I like Kristen's advice, because if you follow the path of the things that you like, if you don't like lighting, don't worry about lighting. You can move lamps around your house and it's good enough. If you really care about audio, and I hope that everybody does, because people like Sean Cannell, who I mentioned earlier, will say 50% of a video is the audio. And if you want help with that, I can help with that as well. So you can think about a microphone if it's help and you're going to enjoy it. The other thing too is anything that you enjoy, you can make money if you want to doing that for other people. Now you can help other people if you want to, but if you'd like to, half of my full-time job is producing YouTube videos and running channels for other people. When you ask who makes all the money in YouTube, I make an amount of money. I don't make any more money than anybody else. But I'm just saying, half of my full-time income is already on YouTube, and it has been since I started. So if you're thinking, well, I wish my full-time job could be on YouTube, I can show you how to get halfway there. You know, so that's a thought.
And one other thought really quickly, this isn't an expensive thing by any means, but go out and get yourself a notebook that you like, whether you go to Walmart or the dollar store or whatever. But a notebook is really important for many things. One thing, you write down all of your thoughts, write down filming ideas, where you can film them, topics, hashtags, and also, you know, scheduling, brainstorming. A notebook is such a simple thing, but it's such an important tool. I can't live without mine. I think I have 8.
And if you're the kind of person who likes to do it all digitally on your phone with different things like Evernote and other notebook apps and stuff like that, that's fine too. But I do like Kristen's advice. I do happen to keep a notebook, but I just go to the dollar store. I buy the $2 half-size one that they have. It lasts me 3 months. And I write down all kinds of stuff. I show it to everybody on Tuber Chat all the time. I show everybody. I still keep notes. I don't do a great job. I'm not as organized as Kristen is, but I do a not bad job, you know.
Okay, thank you so much. Christian, you had said that scheduling is very important. So my question to the both of you guys, the analytics where it shows the purple lines telling you what time to get on, do you guys think that's important? Do you pay attention to that?
Absolutely. I use that, and I promise you it works. The plug-in TubeBuddy can help a little bit with that as well. They've got an extra little line or two that comes in. Not everybody has the lines, though. Kristen doesn't have it. She doesn't have that grid, and we can't figure out why. But on all the other channels that I deal with, we have it. So absolutely, yes. If you can look at that, like what time to post. If you're unsure, then my suggestion is always 9 o'clock in the morning in whatever time zone you're in. And the reason why is because you want to catch the traffic on the way up. But if you can get the grid, and you can use other tools, like I think vidIQ does it and this and that, they'll show you. But absolutely, I think that tool is essential, and it's been a godsend since it came around, because it really does make a difference.
Okay, thank you. I stopped reading something. I'm sorry. Okay. And my last question on mine, and then I'm gonna swing it back to Ronson. For the people that may not know, please explain how important the share button is.
Oh, so important.
It's the number one thing you can do for somebody else. When you think about your own channel and what you wish people would do for you, so you wish that they would give you a thumbs up, You wish that they would leave a comment on your video. One complaint I actually hear, I show up to a lot of premieres and then I end up not leaving a comment after. It slips my mind. I get on to the next one. So, you know, we all like comments. We all like thumbs up. We all like people in our live streams and our premieres. But sharing is something that not everybody's willing to do. Not everybody wants to use their community tab or their social networks. Gary Vaynerchuk puts it this way. He says, most people are using their Instagram feed like a museum. Yeah. And I'm guilty of it too. You want every post to be perfect. You want everything, you know, if anybody looks, you don't want to look unprofessional. But the truth is, when you think there are some people who use their community tab to share for other people all day long. I think Mr. Fulton Mraz was in here today. He does it for us all the time. He's constantly sharing for other people. And then there are some people who don't. It doesn't say anything about the creator. You have to make the right decision for your channel. But when you think about what's the number one thing somebody could do, it's not just hanging out with you. A view is probably the thing you think about the least. The thumbs up is a little bit better. A comment is even better still. But if somebody shares you, you know how many shares you get on every video. That's one thing I know for sure, is you may not know how many likes you got. You may not even know how many views you have. But if I say how many people shared your last video, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
And those are all of my questions.
That's all of my questions. So at this time, we're going to go to the audience for questions. If you guys have any questions for Kristin and Kevin K, please let us know at this time. And also, Kevin, if you can send me the link for TuberChat.
So I actually emailed it to you if you can get into your email, but I can drop it in a moment if you'd like.
Okay, you can email it to me.
It should be there already.
For emails, I said yes. For emails, Okay, thanks.
And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you for coming to visit. And thank you guys for being so gracious to have us with you, first of all, and then offer to send everybody over to chat. It's going to start, you know, probably 15 minutes from now, maybe sooner.
Also, like and post multiple platforms as well, like Twitter and Facebook. Yes.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yes.
What time is TuberChat on?
Right after us. TuberChat, do you think I should add all videos now?
Oh, add ads to all your videos. So here's a thought. One of the things that the bigger YouTubers like Sean Cannell, Sonny Lenarduzzi, and Roberto Blake and them will say is one of the mistakes they see is creators monetizing too quickly. So there's a mentality in that. It's like, okay, you could probably grow a little bit faster if you didn't hinder your channel with ads. But what it comes down to is this, in my own thought, is have a look at your most popular videos that have popped off lately, right? No matter how many views you're getting, and see how much money have you made on those individual videos from ads. And then you'll decide for yourself whether it matters or not. I can tell you right now, TuberChat gets anywhere from 300 to 450 views on an average live stream. And it makes less than $2 on each one of those live streams. So we don't get a lot of replays. So TuberChat is its own beast. It's very different from most other people's channels. We are all otherwise looking for a lot of views and maybe some replays on your live streams. Like this live stream will hopefully get some replays, but TuberChat does not get very many. If we get 350 views on a live stream, it's never going to go beyond 370, right? So I know that I'm making less than $2 in income on each of those live streams, and probably even much less than that. You decide for yourself. If you're going to do a lot of live streaming and you start to get super chats in like every live stream, maybe you don't worry about the $2 because you're already making $5. Why get everybody upset with ads? And it's something I consider on TuberChat too, because I know people are skipping ads, probably Tuber Chat is the worst one for people skipping ads, because you want to get in there. You want to be working fast. I'm only on for 2 hours. You got to get what you get, and that's all you're going to get, right? So I know that. I know some of my friends will let the ads run, and there are generous people who will let some of them run, but I can't expect you to go in and out of the chat 8 times and watch 16 different ads and, you know, reasonably of different lengths. So you do have to make the right decision for your own channel, but sometimes just simple math can figure it out. If you're only making $1 to $2 on the average video, and you're like, you know, I really don't care about the $50 or $60 a month when I'm already making 100 or 200 in super chats, maybe you want to lay off the ads. But you can also do it video by video. So you can say some of these things, like if you have an affiliate video, you're an Amazon affiliate, and you're doing product review, you might say, well, I don't want ads on it because I want those people in there clicking my links. Then that's a consideration as well. So I turned on ads for every channel that I was involved with right away, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for speed, you know, even though I expect to be here for the long term. But maybe that's just, I know I'm not giving you an answer. Maybe that's just a couple ways of thinking about it so that you can weigh in on your own decision.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, my statement, what I
Who
did,
asked that? Teresa?
Teresa.
I hope he was able to help you, sweetheart.
What I
Wait a minute, somebody wanted him to explain the shirt he had on.
I'm sorry.
Forgive me. I bet that's Scratch and Pete doing me a favor, but asking. Yeah, the merch is ready for Tuber Chat. I was talking to people about it for a long time. I actually ordered these shirts last September, but I got them ready and just released them on New Year's Day. I think actually was the first time that I wore the shirt. So those are ready. I just have them on eBay for now. I'll try to put them on Amazon and other places. And this is just the first run. I'll do Tuber Chat stuff afterwards, but the name of my company is actually Thrive Together. And if you notice, the logo has the little YouTube symbol. So the idea is, I'm hoping that when people wear this shirt, other people will walk up to you and say, like, hey, are you on YouTube? Because that gives you the chance to talk about your channel, right? And we all wish for that. But thank you, Scratch and Pete, for asking about that so that I could mention it. And thank you guys for letting me talk about that.
House of X Entertainment, did Kevin and Kirsten say I was their favorite?
Why not?
I think Kristen outright did, but yeah, Vern knows that we both love her. Vern is a BFF. She called me her BFF the other day, but she definitely is. And like I say, when I'm going to do another panel, I'm sure you don't mention it this week, Vern's Junk Closet on her channel, her and CJ's Info and I will be talking YouTube technical details. But that's a creator. Vern is very much inspirational in the creation of Tuber Chat. The whole idea, like Tuber Chat wouldn't exist if I had not met her and a few other people like her, because she's so giving and generous in all the ways that I was describing earlier. You know, so she's my, you know, A1 from day one, I guess you can say, and this and that. Like, you know, Vern's still there after all this time. And, you know, we talk regularly and we seem to feed off each other, right? So.
Awesome. We're going to take 2 more questions. I'm just going to comment on just Teresa's question. For me, as an I statement, when I got monetized on my personal channel, I had put ads in all of my videos, in all of the live streams, because what you can do is go back and sign yourself out of YouTube and then just run all of your videos from the ones that you did before monetization. And then when you create more content into the newer videos, then you can just do that and add the ads into that. So that I basically did that, because you do have some audience and some family members who like to watch older videos, and folks that has never been to your channel, they might watch the older stuff.
Yeah, you know what, Wanston, if you don't mind me adding to that, that's a great point. And so therefore, I just want to add that if you're still swapping playlists with people, which I recommend for monetized channels, then yeah, you want to have your ads pumped as hard as you can, because, and you got to go through every video to make sure that every ad section is there. But if you're still swapping playlists with people, you might as well maximize it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
There are no more questions.
Okay, thanks to the chat and Watson for answering my questions. You're welcome, Jeffrey. So you know we got you. If there's any more questions, guys,
ask them now. If I have a hold your piece on
have any more questions, please.
Did you drop the
Yes. So guys, we are going to raid Tuber Chat, guys. So please let us, when you raid, guys, it will be House of X.
Mm-hmm.
Raid.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you for everybody engaging the conversation in the chat. I only need a couple of minutes to get ready, and Tuber Chat will start as soon as I'm over in the other room.
Yes.
Thank you so much for allowing us to interview when you were on the show.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming to the exclusive show. Thank you for the interview. Hello, Latrice. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Kevin K. Thank you to all those that came. Thank you, Verns. Thank you, Anita. To all of you amazing people that came. Make sure you guys go over to Tuber Chat and say House of X Raid, guys. We love you guys. We're the House of X Entertainment.
You have been entertained again.
There it is.
I'm Leo. And our lovely guest is Kirsten and Kevin K, guys.
Thank you so much for having us. It was awesome.
Thank you again. So long.
Love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Love you too.
Take
Bye.
care.